everyone, welcome to Kelly's Creative Dream Studios, and it is Tag Tuesday. And if you've been around Maddie at Spectrum Art Creations for the last several weeks, you will know that some of this might look familiar. Now, where this person got these, I don't know. But the first thing I thought of when I looked at these tags, and I will link this from Pinterest down below, the first thing I thought of was the Dress My Craft. And if you've not worked with the Dress My Craft transfer sheets, we are going to do that today. So I've got those. I have my transfer sheets. I'm going to set my timer so I don't go overboard here. Because if I go overboard, then my computer and my phone don't like to talk together. So I'm going to set this right over here where I can kind of see it. And I have some book pages from an old Writer's Digest. So they've got a nice patina to them. I really like the yellowing. But I'm going to grunge them up just a little bit more. And to do that, I'm going to use Walnut Stain from Tim Holtz. And normally you see me use the dauber. Well, today I'm going to use one of the foam applicators from Tim Holtz. Because, and I'm going to flip this over and tone this down a little bit. There we go. I want a little bit of color behind the transfer me. I'm not crazy about the swirls. There we go. Get rid of the circles. But I want a little bit of that. Now I could also have used some coffee dyed book pages, and that would work for this. And if you don't have coffee dye, you can also use some of the Distress Re-Inkers in water and spritz them on there. In fact, I'm going to take this one and I'm just going to swipe and get a little more color on there. Boy, that really comes up dark on there, doesn't it? Well, let's see if we can tone that down just a little bit. That's what water is good for. And then come in with one of my old baby wipes here. Remember, it's paper, it's ink, it's paint, everything is fixable. And I'm just going to swipe that off a little bit off of there. Oh yeah, look at that pretty color. And then I can come back and I can apply this one over to here. In fact, I think I'm going to swipe that one again. I like the way that turned out. Probably better than I did the other ones. So we'll just give that a swipe. Give it a spritz. Dilute that ink color down. And then we can come back and spread it around. And dye our page just like that. Okay. Now, before I can work with this, with the transfer me's, I am going to have to dry this down a little bit. Also, you're going to need some way to do the tags, and I'm going to link any of them that Maddie has down below. But we're also going to do freeform a couple of tags here. As I get my hair dryer going here. And this won't take long to dry this off. One of the things I have added to my filming table over here while I'm drying this is I picked up this old vase on clearance from Hobby Lobby, and I put some of the glass marbles down in the bottom, and this holds my heat gun when I'm done with it. So I'm not always looking for my heat gun and wondering where it went to. Now these papers are going to get wet again here in a minute, so I'm not too concerned. But I do want to give them a little bit of a dry time. I think this one is drier. Now we're going to start with these. And these are from Vintage Measure Tapes, is what this collection is called. So we're going to start with this one. And if you've never worked with the Transfer Me sheets from Dress My Craft before, if you've ever done the tattoos from the Cracker Jack boxes when you were a kid, same concept. And I want to come in here and, because I want to get to the center one. I really want to get to the center one right here. You're going to want to cut them out relatively close to the edge. I'm trying to get a couple that have got some color to them is what I'm after. And the cool thing about these is you can layer these. I've got too big of scissors over here. Let me pull out my Stampin' Up! Scissors because I left my other ones over on the other table where I was fussy cutting stuff. And I want, this works much better. This works much better. I'm trying to pull some of these that have got some color to them. And let's get the letters here. And I want to get I really want the colors. Okay. Okay, now we've got a few of those to work with, and I'm going to lay those up here out of my way. And then I'm going to come back in, and again, I've come in here without my glasses. So we're going to pretend that I can see what I'm doing. I really need to get a third pair. You know, you hear people joke about having their cheaters all over the house. Well, I try to keep one next to my computer if I'm going to be fussy cutting while I'm over there. I had one pair in the living room or dining room this morning where I was messing with my sewing machine. And that's the pair that I normally keep over here in the corner. So, okay, there's one. And I'm only going to do a couple of these with the tape measure stuff because I want you to see the other stuff. Yeah. Let's cut this one here. The other thing you're going to need is you're going to need a little dish of water. And I recommend, if you have it, fresh well water or a bottle of spring water. I keep spring water on hand in my craft room because I get minerals in the water will interfere with the pigments in your inks and your paints. So I try to use only bottled spring water or distilled water with them. I don't want to get rid of my alphabet, but I do want to get these little pieces out of the way. So try to use distilled or spring water, and you'll get a truer pigmentation with your paints. Okay, now let's start with these two. And first off, I want to cut the tag. Now, if I had my die cutter over here, I could use this one from one of Maddie's collections. And I thought I had it over here, but apparently I put it away this morning when I was done with the first one. And I'm going to come all the way over here to the edge. I'm okay with that. Okay, move those off to the side. Now, the other thing I want to do is I want to put this on some cardstock. And I think I have a can down here. I've got a bunch of cardstock from Michael's that I'm trying to use up. Now, I am going to go ahead and use a glue stick on this because I'm going to wind up sewing around them now that I have my sewing machine working. So I'm okay with putting these down with glue stick. So I've just used my Tombow glue, smear glue all over the back of that. And I'm going to put it down here and burnish it down good. Ow. Hold my shoulder. Okay. And then we'll come back and cut this out again. Okay, and then you're going to want to take and peel the clear cellophane off the top. It's an acetate sheet. You're going to want to peel that off. And you'll feel it's tacky, and you want to set that down where you want that to be. And I'm going to go ahead and put both of them up here. I'm going to go ahead and cut. Let's see, let's use this one. Let's use this one really quick. And then we can do both at the same time. Okay. I'm going to leave that one on there, and I'm just going to trim this side a little bit. You don't have to be overly precise to a point. Okay. I'm going to find my acetate on there. Pull that off. And if you have animals, try not to let your acetate get where they can get it in their mouth, because if they start getting it in their mouth, they can close off their airway. So make sure that you're picking that up. Okay, I've got those burnished down onto my book page. And now I have a little bit of water here and a sponge, and I'm going to get my sponge wet. And I have a towel over here handy that I can come back and wipe my desk off when I'm done. And I'm just going to put that on there. See how that slides right off of there? And leaves the transfer behind. I'll turn this around, and I'm going to come down here and do this other one. Put my water out of the way here. See, there it comes, sliding right off. Okay, now I'm going to set my sponge up there. See where I laid my towel? I'll wipe my desk off. Now, if you're concerned about having water in your craft room, you could do this with a water brush, but it's going to take you longer to get that saturated, okay? And I'm going to dab that off, and then I'm going to come back and hit it with it. And I'm going to set this on top of my glue book, because I have a plastic mat under there. And give that a dry. Okay. And then slide this back out of the way, because I want to come in here with a bug. And I think one with some color to it will work the best. I'm eyeballing one of these big bees, I think is what has my attention. I keep losing scissors here, so we're going to come in here with this one. And I want one of these big yellow bees. Now, I'm not going to fussy trim him, but I am going to come in here and give him a little bit of definition. Nothing really exciting. And I'm going to try and do this really fast, because I want us to get to a completed tag in this 20 minutes. Now that I have a sewing machine, I can finish my bee journals. And I'm thinking that a couple of these tags with the bees on them will be perfect in those bee journals. Because sooner I can get them stitched up and out the door, sooner I can get not one but two big tubs of stuff out of my living room. Bob is ever so patient about my having craft stuff everywhere. Bless him. I think he's a keeper. And anybody that has met him agrees. Okay. Now I'll get these pieces out of my way. And let's see, where should we, let's put this bee right in here. So I'm going to peel that piece of acetate off and get it out of the way. Plop that bee at an angle, just like that. Come back in here with my sponge. And you'll know when it moves that you're done. You'll know it. Okay, and I'm going to come back with my towel and dab that off just a bit. Get the water off my table. Bring my book back over here. And give that a quick dry. Okay. And then I'm going to use, see, and I've got that coming up here, which, you know, I used glue and I used water, so, you know, it's going to happen. But I'll fix that when I sew around it, I'll fix that. Let's come up here and use one of these tags and clip those corners. Wasn't even paying attention. I hope my face wasn't in the way, or my head. Okay, and then I'm going to come back with my hole punch. And we're going to make a hole reinforcer really quick. Now, I have this brown that I used. I think I want to, oh, excuse me, I think I want a darker brown though. So let's see what I've got over here in scraps. This will work good. I need my need my 1/2-inch hole punch. Let's see, let's use the 1/4-inch punch first. So we're going to punch a couple of holes, space them a little bit apart, then come back in with my 1/2-inch hole punch. And do that, and I have made hole reinforcers. And let's just kind of catch that with the glue stick on that side. And where did the other one fly to? There was another one here that went flying. There it is. Get it on the, get glue on it, put it on the other side. And then I'm going to come back with that distress ink again. And a dauber that I had here somewhere. And I can come around and I can distress the edge of this tag, just like this. Now somewhere in my warehouse, I have all of my seam binding that I have bought for Maddie. And I've not had a chance to go out and look for that yet. So we're going to see what I have in the drawer over here. That will work. I want something really light and airy, and there may be something in my scrap jar here. I don't think the orange is going to get it. I don't normally leave stuff in a jar like this. That gold might be good, or that one. But Bob found that jar at the recycling center and brought it home because he just knew I could find something to do with it. I think we're going to go with this goldenrod. I don't need very much of this seam binding. Okay, there's that, and I will put it back in its bag in a minute, but I saw something else that had my attention. And I like this trim. I love this braid trim. I think we're going to run it down this side. And you know that means my craft glue's coming out, right? And my little thin brush. Whoops. That brush was not where it was supposed to be in the holder. And is now on the floor. And I found my brush I want, I just can't get a hold of it. There we go. Okay, so I'm going to take my craft glue and I'm just going to run a bead up the side of this tag in a semi-straight line. And this doesn't dry really fast, so I've got time to run the whole length of the tag. Just like that. And then I can come back here and I can run that down the side. And if I don't pull it too tight, it won't come off on me. Get a better cut if you cut from the back. Okay, and then we can come in here with this. Get stuff off your fingers. Okay. And then you can fussy with your bow a little bit and make it do pretty much what you want it to do. And then I have scraps for my scrap jar. And there is one of our tags. And that's going to do it for me today. We have a tag using the Dress My Craft transfer sheets and book pages and watered down ink. Let me see if I can put this someplace where it will stand out a little bit more. Here we go. So I will remember to check the community tab tomorrow to see what you need to work with our color challenge video on Thursday so you can play along. And remember, there will be a video on Friday, but it will not be a premiere. So in the meantime, remember to like, share, subscribe, and check out those links down in the description box. Also, leave me a comment. Have you played with the Dress My Craft? And if not, let me know and I'll show you more of what you can do with it. Thanks for joining me in the studio today. Creative blessings.